Good morning, students. Welcome to St. Peter's School. My name is Madhu and I'm your science teacher. This is our first class. So let's start with the first chapter. Before starting the class, I would request all the students please keep your books in front of you. Okay. So let's start with the first chapter. Take out page number 1. The chapter name is Living World and the classification of microbes. What are the microbes? Microbes are nothing, it's a small living organism that is present in our atmosphere. All the living organism that is present in our atmosphere are known as microbes. Now, you will see at the top of the page, you will see there are few questions given. What is the hierarchy for the classification of living organism? So what is the term hierarchy means? Hierarchy is nothing, the specific method, the specific step whichever we follow to classify some to complete the process is known as hierarchy. So the hierarchy, what is the hierarchy for the classification of living organisms? So our different scientists has concluded that our different scientists are now following this hierarchy to classify these living organism. What are the hierarchy is kingdom, division or phylum, class, subclass, series, order, family, genus, species. So on the basis of these steps, on the basis of these criteria, our scientists classify living organism in different types of living organism. So for example, I have given you the hibiscus flower we all have seen. So what is the background of this hibiscus flower? How we will come to know what is the species of this hibiscus? So for example, when you went to the doctor, so doctor asked about you from if you have any genetic problem. So or if you have seen some astrologer also ask you some questions from what is your family background, from where what is your birthplace. So these all numerology needs astrologer to classify your family background. In the same way, our scientist has done a classification of living organism on the basis of these numerology. So like for example, hibiscus family name is Malvaceae and it belongs to Rosa sinensis species. Order is Melavius, series are Thalamiflorae, subclass Polypetals, class Dicotyledons, and division is Angiosperms, or you can say, sorry, phylum is Angiosperms, and kingdom is Plantae. So, these are the different types of numerology our scientists use to classify different types of living organism, any flower, any small organism, any microbes. Okay, so now comes to the next question, that is who invented binomial system? Who invented binomial system of nomenclature? So it is nothing, it is the process of giving scientific name to the living organism is known as binomial system or nomenclature. What is the is actual name, what is the scientific name, that is called nomenclature. And our great scientist Carl Linnaeus in 1735 divides living world into two kingdoms, that is Vegetabilia and Animalia. Vegetabilia is nothing, that is Plantae and Animalia. So in 1735 only Carl Linnaeus has divided our living and which levels of hierarchy considered while writing the name in binomial system. Yes, we all know genus and species. We use the genus and species to classify the name, classify the scientific name of some living organism. So third question was which levels of hierarchy are considered while writing the name in binomial nomenclature? क्या use करते हैं हम binomial nomenclature किसी भी living organism के binomial nomenclature अगर हमें लिखना होगा तो what we will see first of all, what is the genus of that living organism and what is the species of that living organism. Okay, okay, so now let's move forward. You will see first of all, okay, so in this chapter we are going to study about different types of topic like what is biodiversity, what is the need of classification, okay, the classification done by Whittaker, what are the different types of characteristics of the living organism, and classification of microbes. So these all are topics which are going to cover in this chapter. So, first of all, what is the biodiversity? The variety of living organism existing on the earth is called Biodiversity. Biodiversity is nothing that different types of living organism is present in our atmosphere is known as biodiversity. Okay, the diversity words itself defines that there is a different type of some structure. Okay, so that's why it is called biodiversity. The system of sorting living organisms into various groups based on their characteristics, similarities and differences is called classification. So later on in this biodiversity, different types of living organism, they have been classified on the basis of different ticks, on the basis of characteristics, on the basis of their similarities, on the basis of their differences. So on the basis of all these, what our scientists has done, they has classified different types of living organism. So first of all, have a look on the history of classification. Who all scientists have done all this classification? So first of all, Carl Linnaeus has divided the kingdom into two parts. Kingdom, in a previous slide you have seen that first of all, to classify the living organism, what numerology we use, that is kingdom. First of all, we will look at the what is kingdom of that particular living organism. So later on, what happened? Scientists had divided this kingdom also in a two parts, that is Vegetabilia and Animalia, in 1735. Later on, again in 1866, the Haeckel, another scientist was Haeckel. He divided the living world into three kingdoms, that is Protista, plants, and animals. So, in 1866, what we saw that it is again divided into three kingdoms, that is Protista, plants, and animals. Later on, again in 1925, the great scientist Chaton, he divided the living world into two groups, that is prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, I think most of you have heard about this term prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and might be if you have forgot, so let me revise you what is prokaryotes or what is eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are those organisms in which the cell structure is not prominent, like nucleus is not well developed, other organelles are not developed, cell wall is not developed. But in eukaryotes, and everything is prominent, everything is developed, nucleus is also developed, organelles are also developed, walls are also developed. So when you will see under a microscope, you can easily recognize the cellular structure, but in prokaryotes you cannot easily recognize the where is the actual cell structure. So what this is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. You will later on study about this in a detail way. Okay, so on the basis of the cellular structure, our great scientist in 1925, Chaton has divided living world into two groups. Okay, so what you can see that in previously what is happening, different types of scientists were involved in the discovery of new things. So never the discovery never stops. जैसे कि 1735 में कार्ल लिनियस ने डेवलप कर लिया था, तो everyone started thinking that okay, so our living world is divided into two parts only, Vegetabilia and Animalia. But some again new scientists came, and what they used to do, वो उसको उसके एक्सपेरिमेंट्स को फेल करके वो नया एक्सपेरिमेंट नया डिस्कवरी करता था, एंड उन्होंने उसने डेवलप किया कि नई लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म जो है वो थ्री किंगडम्स में डिवाइडेड, दैट इज प्रोटिस्टा, प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स. But again in 1925 again new scientist came, and what he did, he failed the discovery of Haeckel. उसने Haeckel के discovery को fail किया, and again he discovered new thing that no, living world is divided into two groups. So ऐसा चलते रहता था, अभी भी चलता है, that experiment is still going on every so मतलब एक्सपेरिमेंट चलते रहते हैं साइंटिस्ट का. अगेन कोपलैंड इन 1938 came with the new discovery that he divided living world into four kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, plants and animals. So what happens on in that day, जो भी last experiments होता था वो we started to follow that. Again for a long time nothing happened, but in 1969 again one new scientist, Robert Harding Whittaker, has come with the new experiment, new discovery, that is no, our kingdom is divided into five groups now. And but on what basis he divided that living organism into five groups, we will study it later on in next class. Okay, so in a very detailed way we will see that in on the what basis Robert Harding Whittaker divided our kingdom into five groups. So we will study on this, and you will see that from 1920 to 1980, Whittaker was involved in doing this experiment. So the dates are, some dates are very important, so you have to remember the dates also. Okay, so today I am going to end my session here only. It was just an introductory class. What you have to do, you have to note down this chart, okay, and you have to learn all this chart that when Carl Linnaeus has done experiment, what Haeckel has done experiment. So you have to learn this, and mostly what is biodiversity and what is classification. You can learn all these points. Okay, so note down on a new copy. In next class, we will discuss about this experiment of Robert Harding Whittaker, what he has done, on the basis of what he has divided our living organism into five groups. For today, we are going to end our session here only. Bye bye. Take care.